And we're back, and I got a 3DS, so if you want to add me on that, then just post in the comments, because I'll probably forget to put all that stuff in the description. I only have Fire Emblem right now, but I'm planning to get Super Smash Bros. And that comes out anyway. Let's get into this. I throw back my daily fistful of pills with a glass of water. After a solid 8 hours of sleep, I don't really know what I was so afraid of last night. As I chew a particularly large tablet and a half, I continue to rationalize my worries away. Susan knew I was taking sign language classes all day yesterday and didn't make a big deal out of it. She might be mute, but that doesn't mean she can't make her feelings known. No, in fact, it seems like she's all the more direct for it. She doesn't beat around the bush or hold back. She always makes herself clear unapologetically, so there can be no mistakes. So if she wasn't mad then, it's unlikely she would be at all, and on top of that, I didn't do anything wrong anyway. But as that fear of mine recedes, the thought of spending a couple days with Shizune without Misha takes its place. I hadn't really thought about it yesterday, but the idea becomes more and more intimidating. It's true I can understand sign language pretty well, but I would definitely hesitate to say I can understand it above a basic level, and if she were to speed up her signing, which she does quite a bit, I don't think I could keep up. Signing, too, is not my strong suit. Doing both at the same time like Misha can is still a distant dream. Hee-chan. What? Don't forget you said you would help out with building stalls today behind the school after classes are over, okay? I know. Last time you helped out Hee-chan, we really appreciate it. This time it's even more important, so skipping out is unforgivable, okay? I won't ask why that is, but there isn't any opportunity to. Besides, Misha is behind in her classes, so it seems like a bad idea to distract her now that I know that. I can always ask her at lunch, which is what I end up doing. Because, Hee-chan, a festival that celebrates a town is exactly what it sounds like. It's to celebrate your home and its history. Tanabata is different. It's for wishes and lovers. That definitely makes it more important, doesn't it? Yeah, naturally it would be. Is that really what it's for, though? Hee-chan, you have no sense of fun. She puffs out her cheeks in displeasure before blowing the air out like a deflating balloon. You have to appreciate things like that, even if it's just an excuse to eat interesting things and dress up in the end. I'll be disappointed in you if you don't, okay? Before I can say anything, she turns to the side to inhale a croquette. After classes, I meet Shizune behind the school, where it seems she already set everything up sometime yesterday. She greets me with a short wave, and then with a flourish of the hammer already in her hand, extends her arm towards the stalls behind her, some of them already half completed, others still haphazard piles of boards bundled together with string. As time passes, I quickly realize the pills can only do so much. I still get way more tired than should be normal. Luckily, Shizune's back is to me, so I can afford to take a lot of breaks without having to worry about her wondering why. When I stop and think about it, though, I start to feel pretty guilty for taking advantage of her inability to hear that my hammer stopped banging. It's a terrible thing to be happy about. Her work ethic is admirable. It's obvious that it bores her and it even annoys her, but she doesn't slacken her pace. When she gets tired nailing a stall together with one arm, she switches to the other. How can she do that? I can't hammer. I can barely hammer with my right hand. How the heck would I do it with my left one? I feel like an idiot the second I say her name. I can't tell her what I think. There's a hammer in my hand as well, and in the end, I feel like I have to keep up with her. Can't slack off either, especially when it's just the two of us. There's no time to sign, no opportunity, not even for a compliment for a job well done. Even something as casual as that would require me to put my hammer down, get her attention, then sign it to her. A simple gesture turned into something so needlessly complex, like a single footstep taken on a road that's longer than first imagined. I've known her long enough to know this and still forgot. The air is filled with the rhythmic knocking of nails being driven into wood. It's actually kind of nice after a while to pass the monotony of the task at hand. I try to match my hammering to Shizune's and alternate it to try and form a beat. Of course, she doesn't notice. Makes me wonder, does the lack of sound make this work seem more drawn out and boring to her? Is it strange being unable to hear the results of her actions even as she feels the vibrations through her fingers, or having no concept of sound? Does it bother her at all? Distracted, I don't notice Shizune sneaking up on me until her head pops into view. Taking a break? Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's do that. You can understand sign language. That makes it more convenient for both of us, even though you hid it from me. Why? Why what? Why did you decide to take sign language? Her eyes don't break off from mine for even a second. If she needs to read my response, her peripheral vision is good enough. When she has something in her gaze, she doesn't look away. Strange how piercing her eyes can be, dark as a lake at night. Because I wanted to, it seemed like it would come in handy, and it did, didn't it? Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't catch any of that. See, this kind of thing still comes up now and then. I wish Misha was here. She has work to make up for, doesn't she? That might be partially my fault. Misha doesn't need doesn't need supplemental lessons. Her grades aren't the best, but she understands how the decisions she makes affects others. That puts her ahead of many people, especially certain blondes. She doesn't forget things easily. Your sign language is very good. You're learning oddly fast. I've been taking classes for a while now, and it's kind of easy to pick up after a while. Through immersion or osmosis, that kind of thing, it's not too bad. And if I'm really stuck, Misha's there too. I guess I spoke too soon. I didn't understand any of that. Time to backpedal. Well, yeah, it's actually not that easy. It's actually hard as hell, like trying to pick up broken glass. But I guess in some ways it's interesting as well, like an adventure. Well, no. Picking up broken glass is not an adventure. Sure it is. It's just as challenging. If you use a dustpan and broom, it's not. I feel frustrated and sad. When I look up, I know she has a can of soda in her hand. Where did you get that? I forgot to sign it, but she understands anyway, following my eyes, and produces another one from behind her back. She tosses it in my direction, and I catch it with both hands, and now it's going to be all fizzy because she threw it. I brought an extra one for you. She pauses to slide her fingernail under the tab of her can and pop it open before setting it aside for a moment. If you're going to try and help me so much, then I have to look out for you too. It's only natural. If you're going to learn sign language, that is something entirely different. I'm naturally going to be impressed. What separates the two is obligation. I'm very happy. She downs her drink in one go, stretches her arms behind her back, and jumps to her feet. Okay, back to work. And like that, it's over. Shizune returns to work with the same energy as before, the lingering traces of a smile on her face, the only evidence that she has taken a break at all. As I do the same, I think that Misha was right in saying everything would work out for the best. Everything so far seems to be going in that direction. Misha swings by as it starts to get darker, looking just as tired as I feel, and Shizune decides to stop for today. As we cover the day's work and go our separate ways, I look at how fluidly they talk to each other and how easily they laugh together as they walk to their dorm. Makes me appreciate Misha's skill at sign language more. I wonder if I'll ever reach that level or if I will even have the time to. First thing I do this morning is trip once again over Kenji's package as I get out of bed, finding myself diving headfirst into the floor, before I'm even fully awake. I want to smack this thing with the first blunt object I can find, like I'm going for a home run, but I don't even have the energy for that this early in the morning, and it would likely damage whatever's inside, and that would be mean. I slide it into the hallway. It sails along the smooth floor with little difficulty and stops with a soft and almost inaudible bump on colliding with Kenji's door. Immediately, a dozen locks unbolt in succession like a mounting symphony. Who is it? He says as he blindly steps forward into the hallway anyway, somehow stepping over the box in a way that would be uncharacteristically, impressively graceful if it weren't for the fact I know it was wholly accidental. It's me, I got your mail, you're standing over it. I know, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, whatever. So what's in it? He cringes, instantly turning very defensive and agitated. It's nothing. Come on, tell me, I'm curious. You know, I almost broke my neck falling over it, and before that I had to carry that stupidly large box around with it blocking my vision, crossing roads with it in front of me. I think you can at least tell me what's inside in return. It's secret stuff, I can't tell you, because then it wouldn't be very secret and shit. It's nothing important. Well, if it's nothing important, you can tell me. If it's nothing important, why do you have to know? Why is that wrong? Why do you have to know? Why can't I know? Why are you answering my questions with questions? Why won't you answer my first question? Why won't you answer my last question? I realize their voices are getting higher and higher with each reply. Down the hall, a door pops open and someone sticks his head out quizzically to see what's going on. They must look like such tools, but I bet I'm the only one out of the two of us with enough shame to realize it. Fine, you can take it to your grave. I have to get ready for school anyway. Damn, no, why are you so hasty to leave? Stick around a little. You want some coffee? It's been a while. You know, I thought you were dead since you were so slow with the package delivery. Oh, you're lucky I was willing to do a package delivery in the first place, smartass. Whoa, calm down, man. You're so confrontational. Is because of the student council thing? I hear you hang out with them now. You heard it from me when I told you. Really? Oh, yeah, well, whatever, man. The point is they're terrible. You're the new guy, so of course you wouldn't know, but around here, she's a very divisive figure. Before you came here, she tried to institute a badge policy. It's a long story, so maybe you should sit down. I look around for a chair, but can't find one. As we are in the goddamn hallway, I raise a finger and start thinking that maybe I should tell him that, but he's already started talking. Not wanting to waste the arm movement, I look at my watch instead. Would have been a real reign of terror if it had happened. What, you're judging her based on something that didn't even happen? Yes, anyway, her idea was like merit badges, but there would also be demerit badges. What would those do? I don't know, it never happened. It seemed bad, though, so when I heard about it, I didn't leave my room for a few weeks. So you heard there would be a massive change and hid in your room, trying to just ride the change out. Now I decided to do something about it. I found the student council office after a while and marched right in with a list of demands and a bunch of people I grabbed in order to make myself look like I had supporters. Wait, so not only did it not happen, but no one even cared. Kenji doesn't hear me having gotten a good momentum going. Wrapped up in the energy of his own ranting, he starts to completely flip out and flail his arms, appearing to wildly throw gang signs. I walked up to the desk and said to her, "Hey, you fascist woman, what is this badge idea? How out of touch can you be here in your ivory tower, smugly looking down upon us like we're just a bunch of idiots? Who do you think you are? Your level of elitism is terrible. You're probably one of those outrageous rich people who have chauffeurs drive them around slums so they can point and laugh, and only drink pricey coffee beans shat out by the last living dinosaur and brewed in a solid gold skull. And how could you? Go open up a history book. Don't you know that the bourgeoisie are already overthrown in a bloody revolution for shit like this? Stupid, you're an idiot. Sure, the revolutionaries usually end up turning everything into an utter clusterfuck later on, but a maniac is the only kind of person who would create a policy like this. It's like something I would create to make people suffer, only real, and you want to institutionalize it. Why will this desecration of our rights end? We are people. This is not justice." That's what I said. Then I added a cry of, "They can take our things, but they'll never take our freedom," to appeal to the masses like that. Like in that movie about the life of William Wallace, where they took his things but not his freedom and then killed him. But she just ignored me and didn't even look up from writing in her little paper shit. Maybe I overwhelmed her with my logic so badly that she just retreated into denial. Maybe she's just an asshole. Either way, she didn't reply, and the future refused to change. To top it off, on the way back I realized I had lost my student ID somewhere. This is the story of my life, a constant, seemingly futile struggle, like trying to climb a brick wall with sponges for hands. You said nothing changed, but you didn't make everyone wear a bunch of stupid badges, so it did change. Oh, that's true. Okay, maybe they're not so bad then. I guess that counts for something. If I can get Kenji to admit that maybe 2 women may not be so bad after all, I'll take it. Especially if it allows me to slip out of this conversation. I didn't realize how much time had gone by. Try to run through my usual morning routine as quickly as possible. I check my watch again as I leave the dorms to see that I'm already late. Gotta scratch my ear. Alrighty. Fortunately, the rest of the day goes more smoothly, and after classes are over, I head to meet with Shizune again. Behind the school, I catch her leaning against the completed stand with parts of it still flecked with bits of paper and tape, remnants of sign from the last time it was used. Absent-mindedly spinning a nail in her hand, she hasn't noticed me yet. The temptation to sneak up on her is unbearable. Years of watching foreign wildlife documentaries have prepared me for this. Downwind conditions are favorable. However, the more I think about it, the more it seems like a bad idea. If I get caught halfway, I'll look like an idiot, and if she doesn't know it's me, I could end up with an injury. Either way, I'll also look a little insensitive, so it would probably be best not to try anything funny, as disappointing as it is. I walk in front of her, startling her a little. Am I so surprised that I catch you slacking off? No, I was taking a break. You don't look like you even broke a sweat. That's some break there, President. Shizune's eyes dart back and forth momentarily. I think I've managed to fluster her. There's exasperation on her face and a little tension as well, but she can't back down. That would be unthinkable for her. Her fingers dance across each other impatiently. You're acting competitive today. Are you trying to get my blood boiling? Do you want to make it into a contest? We'll race to see who can construct the most stalls by sundown. No, I'm teasing you. That's okay, it's not a real student council. If you can't tease the student council president a little, you agree, don't you? That isn't in the student council charter, so it isn't true. There is no charter. At least I don't think there is. The only thing they pledge loyalty are to a stack of takeout menus. Anyway, it's good that you're finally here. Even if you could have been earlier, pick up a hammer and we'll resume where we left off. As we work assembling stalls again, I slowly realize that it's really much less work than I would have expected. In fact, according to Shizune, we should be done by the end of the day with a little luck. The last time I did something like this for them, it took her, Misha, and myself almost 4 days to do. It can't be just my imagination. You know, this doesn't seem like that much work. Because it isn't. That answer leaves me wanting a little more, knowing that isn't the best. Shizune puts down her hammer to elaborate. It would be impossible for 2 people to do that much work in less than a week. The truth is that I don't dismantle half the stalls. I just store them someplace else. Actually, more like I hide them in plain sight. She waggles a finger mischievously. But that's a secret, and it's not proper to reveal the tricks of the trade. You're not a magician. Winking, she takes out 2 plastic containers from her bag, then puts them down on a nearby board before raising her hand slightly as if to say, ta-da. I made lunch today for both of us. You can have this one. The food shifted in my bag, and now some of it is mixed together. She hands me one of the containers. I open it, and it looks delicious, if a little simple. She hands me a pair of chopsticks as if she had just remembered to, and I eat what looks like some grilled beef. It's very tasty. You don't like your food touching other food? I do not. You're very picky. Sometimes it makes my food my own, but not always, not everything. I don't like it when it's done for me. What is important is the choice. She points decisively to emphasize it, and then breaks her chopsticks apart to eat her own meal. As I continue to eat, I notice 2 things. The first is that I that almost everything I'm eating besides the rice is fried, even the vegetables are fried. There's so much meat. Does she eat this kind of stuff all the time? I wonder how she manages to stay so thin in spite of it. Second thing I notice is I can't talk to her while eating. Talking with your mouth full is a little rude anyway, but with our hands holding our chopsticks in bowls, communication between us is impossible, just like yesterday. Even though we're spending time together, even though I took the time to learn sign language, it feels like I'm talking to her less. Despite that, it also feels like I'm understanding her more. I hear the sound of something tapping against one of the stands and look up to see Lily standing off to my side, feeling her way around with her cane. Hi. Nearly catch myself before I say didn't see you there. Oh, Hazao, is that you? I thought I smelled something delicious cooking, and I wondered who it might be. What is she saying? It's hard to move my hands in parallel to saying something completely different to Lily. This has to be why Misha just signs everything all the time. A bit sillier, but it seems like it would simplify things a lot. Shizune tenses her fingers delightedly at my translation, as if from hearing a joke. Oh, this food was cooked hours ago. For someone as slow as yourself, who can't even turn in a piece of paper without being a week late, I guess your perception of time would have to be a little different. That's not very nice. A frown crosses Lily's face in response to a reply to something she didn't hear. Oh, sorry, I'm just having a late lunch here. The student council president cooked everything. Is the student council president here right now? She's right here. I apologize, I didn't notice. Normally her level of presence is much higher. I was not aware the student council serves lunch outdoors. Why wasn't I invited? I think that it is good to have enough free time to be able to do things like this, however. What is she saying? If I were to invite you anywhere, you would just show up late. Shizune's words are outside Lily's perception, a fact that is, by the second, increasingly maddening her. Translate for me completely, please. What polite phrasing. It's just a shame she's essentially asking me to let her fully release the dog's war. Still, I can't just do nothing. The feeling of being unable to even respond and be understood is so isolating. She would never forgive me. I'll just try to soften her words a little. Well, actually, this was all cooked a while ago. Really, that's nice. Turn over here. It's very disrespectful to not look at the person you're speaking to. That isn't the way a prim and proper lady should conduct herself. Half what I'm saying is really what Shizune is saying. She doesn't like it when people don't look in her direction when she's trying to make a point. She's to the right of my voice. Although in this case I can understand why Lily wouldn't. This is a very awkward situation. It's daunting being the sole conduit for dialogue between the two of them. Truthfully, I had forgotten what happened the last time they butted heads like this. It's clear Shizune remembers, and Lily is being pretty hostile herself in her own way. I'm sorry, such formalities slipped my mind completely. I forgot that the student council president is the type of person who would demand such respect and adherence to the rules at all times. I suppose student government requires you to keep a tight ship, but then again, she certainly has time for her own fun as well, so that must not be completely true. Student council is not a dictatorship, nor is zero-sum game. Shizune points at Lily with her fingers out like the barrel of a gun and snaps her fingers explosively, causing her to flinch and become visibly upset. Is that so? Then that makes it more impressive that you have been a part of it for so long, playing it as though it were one. I admire the fact you are so tenacious to manage it all. You must be so responsible as well. Not as much as I would like to be. You can't complain about yourself, though, can you? You're very responsible. Actions like requesting a deadline to be extended and then running all the way through to the next deadline. That's a very model of responsibility. Shizune is happy to hear that, but apparently you're pretty responsible yourself, she says. Does she really? More or less. Lily doesn't seem very happy. We're not holding a cookout, we're just taking a little lunch break. We're actually out here building stalls for the festival. You wouldn't know since you never go outside. Did you run out of tea? Are you going into town? Shopping? No, as I said before, I was just passing by in case you did not hear. I would hate to interrupt the student council president. You're not doing anything now, but you must both be very busy. In any case, Hazao, I'm sure the student council president will be able to find or make work for the both of you if she needs to. I'll devour you. Yeah, very busy. Devour is a hard word. I'm pleased that I can read it. This isn't time to celebrate, though. Not over that. Instead, it looks like they might stop squabbling. I would drink to that. Have a nice day, Hazao. Goodbye, student council president. Thanks, you too. Stay classy. As soon as Lily leaves, Shizune dives into the remains of her lunch as quickly as possible, as if each bite she shovels away is a means of forgetting any of this ever happened. When she's done, she heads right back to hammering with the same mindset. It's good that she's working off her frustration, but now it doesn't look like she's in any mood to talk anymore. About 2 hours later, she stops, having mowed through the rest of the stalls non-stop in that time. It still feels hard to approach her, and I think about how easy a conversation can die after it took so long to be able to get her alone and speak to her directly. It almost hurts. Your translation was good. Really? First class. She punctuates it with a thumbs up. for your level. There aren't many deaf people in the school, and sign language classes have been on the edge of getting cut for a while now. I'm sure you don't have many classmates, am I right? If you're only learning sign language now, your speed is going to be limited. That is why interest in it wanes, because it takes more effort than normal just to communicate. I imagine it's the same with all languages. In such a situation, conversations in sign language are less than they would inherently be to start with. I don't understand that word. Less what? Spontaneous. Mishi's the only person who can really capture it. Yeah, that's definitely true. Her expression changes for a second and changes back too quickly to digest, but I get the feeling this isn't meant to be pursued. What I really want to know about is, why do you and Lily fight so much? Tensing a little and visibly frowning, Shizune tenses her fingers and overlays them repeatedly, as if shuffling an invisible deck of cards. Two fights that you know of aren't worth calling so much. If you had been there last year, you could say that. I heard it was a rough last year. I heard it was a rough year. Something about you tried to institute a badge policy. Surprised? Well, I want to hear more about that later, definitely. But you don't like Lily very much, do you? Don't dodge my question. I'm not dodging anything. She was part of the student council last year. We didn't get along very well. She wanted to keep doing things like the old student council did. The old student council was just so ineffectual, it was stupid and insulting. I wanted to do more, and we had a fight. A lot of fights. She couldn't do anything on time. Then she said that what I wanted to do was meaningless, just extra busy work. Does this look like meaningless busy work to you? Shizune gestures around us. What's really meaningless is a student council that doesn't do anything. Weak, lazy, and boring, especially boring. I couldn't get excited over sitting in a room with nothing to do. That's just a waste of time. Why would I even be there? I didn't get my It didn't get my blood flowing arguing with her, does that? If she could have been that motivated before, she wouldn't have to put so much dedication into being my enemy, but if she shows that much spirit, it's not a complete loss, at least it's something. It's still exciting. I see. And what about the badge thing? She laughs, covering her mouth with her hand as if to hide it. Her laughter is the only thing she regularly tries to hide. That was just a joke. Having a little fun sometimes is important too. The next day, I end up having to hunt around a bit at the start of lunch. When I find that my usual vending machine near the dormitory buildings is sold out of my usual favorite canned coffee. That a detour takes longer than I expected. Things have been so hectic lately that it takes some time for me to register why something smells different as I walk through the school gardens back to the cafeteria. The grass has been freshly mowed. Realization makes me pause and watch for a bit. The odd groups of students chattering or playing around on the grass and a couple of teachers conversing on the path ahead make for a very idyllic scene. Unfortunately, a feeling of imminent dread starts creeping up on me after a while, a feeling that I'm not alone. Hey, was that you? Yeah, it's me. Guess I should be happy it's him and not, say, a slasher. Kenji begins talking as if he's having a conversation with someone other than me. No, that haircut is unmistakable. No normal person will have a haircut like that. Unconsciously, I start touching the back of my head, and once I realize what I'm doing, I feel insulted, yet too surprised to even get indignant about it. Yeah, what are you doing here? Measuring the temperature. Winter will come soon. It's too cold for women to go out and have their sex in the city-style power lunches, followed by obstruction, human wave formation walks in crowded urban areas. When this happens, man will be able to walk the streets unfettered once again and reclaim what is his heritage. In order to prepare for that day, I've been eating nothing but pizzas for the past week to store energy. Okay. That's what bears do. So, there's much we can learn from the bear. Kenji nods, emphatically agreeing with himself. Okay, so check this shit out. I was in town today buying milk. They had a new clerk, some hipster girl with a baseball cap and 2 hockey sticks on it. I'll call her hipster hockey baseball hat girl. I noticed the milk didn't have a price tag, so I told her to get over there and label the milk for future generations. He was in town today? He must have cut his morning classes. I want to scold him, but his verbal torrent prevents me from getting a word in. She told me not to bother her because she was sick. Sick? Sick. We live in a society here. You can't just opt out of human interaction because you're sick. Do you know how much effort it takes for me to even get up in the morning? I still do, though, and I got up that morning to go there and buy milk, not to have my vital questions just brushed aside by some hipster doofus college girl who wears a hockey baseball cap to work indoors. Anyway, I was just trying to uphold the integrity of her products. The milk carton without a price tag? When I see something like that, it just leads to questions, important questions. It's her job to answer them, damn it. That's the problem with women, they have no sense of duty. I get diarrhea a lot, but you don't see me complaining about it. I soldier on and do what I have to do. Anyway, because that's what being a man is all about. Even if you have diarrhea, you keep going for the dream of a better tomorrow. You know, frequent diarrhea is bad. Maybe you should stop drinking so much milk. I can't do that. It's what allows me to maintain my awesome strength. And in this world, a man's strength is the only thing that can't be browbeaten out of him by an increasingly pussy-whipped society. That's why I walk around leaving open jars of olives everywhere sometimes, just to show that I can't. Do you refrigerate after opening? What, man? I don't know. That's not important. You have to refrigerate after opening. Even elementary school kids know that. They can't get the jar open in the first place, so it doesn't matter. No, that's true. I'm a genius. He self-assuredly rubs his chin, which is something I imagine scientists did until I met Muto and was tremendously let down. Anyway, I can't go to that store again, since it's clearly been compromised by bitches, unless I disguise myself. Maybe change to a different pair of glasses. Worst disguise ever. And it's been working flawlessly all these years. I don't even need glasses to see. They're for effect, also to protect my identity. I'm like Superman. Worst disguise ever. I'm telling you, when people see my school ID, they can't even recognize me. Really? Let me see. I can't do that. I can't go around showing my ID to everyone. It was made long ago in a different time. I had hippie hair. While I'm trying to imagine that, Kenji takes his glasses off. He squints as soon as they're off his face, which makes him look even more tired than he already does. He was right. He does look very different, kind of like he hasn't slept in years. Not different enough for it to be a good disguise, though. You need more sleep. Nah. You look so sad. You look like you need it. No way, these are just the eyes of a man who has seen things, a shaman's eyes, terrible things you can't imagine. Like when I made a ship in a bottle and my mom sat on it, there was blood and shreds of floral print everywhere. That's what life experience is. Kenji doesn't seem horrified, even though I think this is actually the first thing he told me about himself that could be legitimately traumatic. He's also talking about 30 degrees to my left, so I guess his blindness is real. I wave a hand in front of him anyway, to a little effect. Man, I hope you realize I'm just joking. I laugh, pretending that I did, somehow looking at him in the eyes more difficult than usual. Want some trivia? People with small eyes wear big glasses. I read that somewhere. It's because it makes your eyes look less beady. Really? I didn't know that. He puts his glasses back on, and I feel oddly relieved for a moment until I realize that I still have to deal with him, glasses or not. Well, anyway, this artist girl wanted to paint my portrait once, I think. I had to talk to her like 5 times before she started making sense. Must have been Rin, I suppose. What'd she look like? I don't know, a woman with sandals. I was hoping to see something more specific, like she had no arms. Rin does wear sandals, but I feel like the chance of there being another free-spirited female art student wearing sandals beside her is reasonably high. I was thinking, sure, someday after I burn all documentation that I exist, it might be okay to leave a portrait behind so people can look at it and remember the savior of mankind. They'll need it to model the statue. Then I thought about it some more and I had to turn her down. It was tempting, but she wanted it for some school thing. It would be displayed. People would ask who I was, only I haven't saved society yet, so it would be pointless, and then if someone recognized me, I'd have to explain myself. That's already a chain of events I don't want to deal with. I don't want to get mixed up in some weird situation. Shit like that always happens. Sticking out is a surefire way to get put on a list. That's why I make such a careful effort to blend in with people in my daily life until I can make my move. Sure. What list? There are many lists. So what are you doing here anyway? Nothing. I kinda got here by accident. Happens to me all the time. Well, I hope that works out for you. I think I'm gonna go back to my dorm room. Need to set my TV to record my shows. You have TV? Yes, you should come over sometimes. We can watch the game in high definition. Before I can ask him what he's talking about, he's gone. He left me like he came, with zero respect towards other people. Kind of amazing. Now that Kenji is gone, I resume looking aimlessly at the school gardens in their summer splendor. It's no use. He ruined them for me. I actually like that part quite a bit. When I get back to the cafeteria, exhausted but alive, I think of eating lunch with Shizune again, but find her sitting at a table with Misha already. If it were anyone else, I would think how they were too far away for me to hear them. This is Shizune and Misha, however. If I wanted to, I could eavesdrop on their conversation easily. What a dirty thing to think about, but it's there. I don't want to, though. They must have a lot of catching up to do, even if it's only been a few days. I'm inclined to just leave them alone so they can do just that. However, the second they see me, they wave me over. Hi, Hee-chan. Hearing her voice again, even after such a short time apart, is jarring, and I wince. These past few days I had forgotten that communication with Shizune is almost entirely silent and concentrating on getting it right. I had turned out even ambient noise. I'll get used to it again. I'm glad she's back. I'm done making up all my work just in time. I won't have to miss the festival. Haha. If they really try to enforce that, I would pull you out on student council business. If they really try to enforce that, you would pull me out on student council business? That's abuse of power. No, it isn't, Hee-chan. Shishan says that if there were only 2 student council members overseeing the festival, it would be a problem, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely. It has to be at least 3. It's for the good of everyone. It's perfectly reasonable. It's necessary. Shizune leans across the table a bit as Misha delivers her slightly disturbing militaristic justifications in a childish bubbly up and down tone. Shizune looks so happy, though, tenting her fingers and trying to hold back a laugh as Misha pouts more seriously on her behalf. And if you say so, I'm actually happy right now that we can talk so easily to each other, all 3 of us. In the beginning, I thought that I might have found myself in a bad situation. I was sure that Shizune would hate getting saddled with being tour guide for the new guy. I didn't want to be that kind of burden either. It would be awkward even if she weren't deaf and mute too. Just now she said that we would all have to be at the festival, the whole student council. I don't think that the student council has any real jurisdiction over ton about it. It's only Shizune's way of saying that she wants us to spend it together. It's nice to have friends. It's a simple thought, but one that makes me genuinely happy that we could slip into being such with so much ease. Genuinely happy we could slip into being such with so much ease. Okay. Despite the roundabout way in which she said it, I'm glad that Shizune thinks it strongly enough to express that at all. Why did you wait until we waved you over to come sit with us? Question out of nowhere, Shizune's eyes are expectant as Mishane, man, I'm good. Misha repeats her message. I feel like teasing her. Oh, you want me to sit with you that badly? We're in student council. We should sit together as much as possible. It's logic. Anyone would jump at the chance to sit with 2 cute girls anyway. She pauses in case I might say something like, "You're not that cute," and instantly lock myself into an obvious no-win situation. When I don't take the bait, Shizune becomes more energetic and continues. You're abnormal. Well, I didn't expect her to end it like that. You're too quick to call other people abnormal, so arrogant. You're too quick to call other people arrogant, that makes you arrogant, and arrogance is also abnormal. You're double abnormal. It doesn't work that way, it's a sliding scale. Leaning on her arm, Misha closes her eyes and lets out a low, slow laugh like a chuckle. Don't laugh. Don't laugh in this kind of situation. I notice that Misha signs everything I say to Shizune anyway, even though I'm signing myself. This is redundant, but it's an unconscious action for Misha. On the other hand, I can't stop. If I let myself take it easy and sign less just because Misha is back, then what was all this for? I don't want to risk losing familiarity with how to sign either. My hands are pretty slow to speak on my behalf as it is. Hichan, you and Shichan talk to each other much more now, back and forth. It's really funny too, like an old married couple, right? What a loaded comment in so many ways, although, because it's Misha, it can't have been on purpose. That's not a compliment. Shizune doesn't react to Misha trying to pair the 2 of us up. Maybe she didn't see it. Sometimes it does happen, I've noticed. I still wonder if it's really that simple and why I care so much, but I don't want to think about it too hard. I want to leave. I keep thinking that I'm hogging Misha's time with Shizune and that it could be that Misha cut in just now on purpose, feeling that way too. I doubt that either of them will let me leave, though. In some ways, they're too nice. Anyway, Shizune, if you really want to know, I didn't want to sit here because I didn't want to intrude. I thought that because of Misha being away for supplementary lessons or whatever, you 2 would have a lot to talk about, so I should just leave you alone to catch up. That's why I thought I should just hang back. Don't worry, Misha, I'm not trying to monopolize Shizune. Haha, Hichan, it's not like that. You're so considerate, Hichan. Shichan is sorry and apologizes. I don't really think it's worth apologizing over, so don't worry about it. Hey, don't you both think that since Misha is back, we should go celebrate somehow? I think so. Hichan, usually having to make up work isn't something to celebrate over. No, it's a good idea. The timing is perfect, and Shizune said that the student council should have a little fun too sometimes. You've probably heard that too, right, Misha? It should be fine. Actually, wait a second. Did you have to make up work because you were missing so many classes to begin with? So skipping out to celebrate would be kind of stupid. Maybe the timing isn't perfect. Like I said, we could go after school. Where should we go? Misha speaks Shizune's question to her aloud before she even stops to think it over, both of them completely ignoring me. Steam self-update. Well, I'll do that later. Hey, listen to me. 2-man short-sighted student council team? Haha, Hichan, you're part of this team too. Yeah, I guess I am. Yeah, you are, Hichan. So forgetful and troublesome, I feel sorry for the girl who falls in love with you. So, where do you think we should go? I'm laughing in spite of myself, wanting to point out how Misha seems so enthusiastic now when she was the one who was most apprehensive about it just a few seconds ago. For whatever reason, I can't bring myself to do it, but this is okay too. After a short discussion on where to go, it seems like the only place all 3 of us know and are willing to travel to is the Shanghai. Tea House doesn't look like a bad place to celebrate, especially because I'm sure they sell cake there, and cake is the most celebratory food. I haven't seen Yuko in a while either, and neither have the girls for all these reasons, plus the fact that it's so close, I end up standing in front of the little tea shop with Shizune and Misha before I know it. Welcome. It's been a while since I heard Yuko's voice. I'm so surprised all over again by the energy she puts into her greetings, kind of like an extremely nervous Misha. Hi, but you don't have to do that all the time if it's just us. Yes, I do. But... Okay, if you say so, Yuko. Take this moment to glance around the tea house and notice that it is as empty as ever. It's lunchtime, especially at a peak hour for an establishment of this type, and yet it's as barren as ever. I don't understand. There has to be a reason for this. Drink time. Oi. Shizune gently taps my arm to get my attention. What do you want to get? Yuko looks a little agitated after Misha automatically relays the question. No, I'm supposed to ask that. Is there anything that I can do for you? Just some coffee for now, I guess, thanks. The dedication Yuko has towards her waitress duties is sort of admirable, so is the speed at which she whisks slices of cake and our drinks to our table when we order. And again, we're the only customers here. Who knows what it would be like with a full house. Shizune and Misha immediately dig into their cakes with gusto, probably because they can't talk with utensils in their hands. The whole point of sharing a meal with friends like this is to be able to talk over it. After all, it makes sense that it would be the same with them. I'm barely halfway through my cake when I hear their forks clinking as they set them down their empty plates. It's not healthy to inhale your food. He-chan sounds like an old man. I cringe and instantly feel like I've been punched. Are you gonna wear a yukata tomorrow, He-chan? No, I don't even have one. Well, even if I did, I'm not the kind of guy who does stuff like that. What about you? Are you two going to dress up? Of course. What do you mean, of course? You didn't dress up last time. One time is not a trend. It's a completely different situation anyway. Aside from not being Tanabata, the festival was on school grounds. Students should wear their uniforms on school grounds. Clearly a joke, but her delivery isn't any different from the usual, so that isn't normal, but her sense of humor never was, and I'm used to it. I guess her way of saying outrageous things seriously is a little better than if she were to say serious things outrageously. What's more troubling in any case is that I've started to associate a voice with her signing, and it's clashing with how Misha says it out loud everything Shizune sends anyway. I feel disoriented. I'll dress up this time. You'll see, He-chan. Not just She-chan, but me too. Maybe I'll change my hairstyle too. Don't do that. I can't really imagine you looking differently. Get rid of that stupid drill hairstyle. Shizune wags a finger and smiles. Such a quick and firm disapproval if I were to change... what if I were to change my hairstyle? Maybe you should grow your hair out and make it look like drills. She looks unamused. Luckily, I see Yuko making her way over, likely to clear our plates and ask if we need anything from her. Yuko, are you doing anything from Tanabata? Uh-huh. It's like she was practicing how to most smoothly ask if I needed a refill of coffee while walking over, but she has no idea what to do having been asked a question first. I feel bad. Yes, I'm working. Yuko, they make you work on holidays? Aw. We have the most business on holidays, I'm sure. And sometimes tourists, I don't mind. I have to do my best. I understand completely, so admirable. Shizune nods her head in solidarity, feeling a kind of kinship with Yuko through their shared determination to be the best, although for her it's a matter of prideness, whereas Yuko might just feel like she really needs this job and maybe a raise. The most business, huh? So how many people on average during a holiday? Well... Yuko walks away and starts cleaning a couple of swizzle sticks. That isn't polite. This is not what a proper waitress would do. Nevertheless, I sort of got my answer anyway. Clearly business is scarce at best. Start to wonder again how the Shanghai remains open at all. Maybe this eclectic style of tea house is a trend that was outrageously successful before I got here, but isn't anymore, and they're just keeping it like this while they retool. Maybe the owner is rich and is involved in some sort of bet with someone else, or a crazy scheme to see who can lose the most money. Maybe I just conveniently miss mobs of customers by seconds each visit. Maybe this place is just a front for arms dealers. Since there's no one else here, why don't you sit down with us? We can talk about economic infeasibility, but Yuko doesn't take the bait, shaking her head from side to side emphatically. I've never really celebrated Tanabata before, or dressed up for anything like this. I'll finally be able to wear my yukata, yay. What do you mean never? What about last year? Last year, She-chan, me and the 3-2 class reps ran a stall for the festival. It was a soba stall, I think. Yeah, it was, yep. The blind class rep at 3-2 must be Lily. I'm surprised they were able to work together on anything, but Misha would likely be the best possible buffer for that kind of thing, with how innocent she is. She-chan cooked and Lily took the orders, and I translated for them. She-chan kept saying it's so inefficient, Misha. Why do you have to be the middleman? Why is there a middleman in the first place, huh? It would be fine if I did the cooking and you took orders. It doesn't make sense at all. But I think everyone had fun in the end, right, Shi-chan? Shi-chan adjusts her glasses grudgingly, causing Misha to break into laughter. It was the old student council's idea, that's why. So what was the last student council like, then? Shizune finally decides to step in again, or it's more like she can't stop herself. Terrible. That was blunt. She ends with a chopping motion as if passing judgment on them. Hope she's going to elaborate a little. At universities and some private schools, student councils can have control over millions of yen to budget and distribute as needed. Wow, really? Millions? Alright. And they are much more involved in school activities too, Hichan. From Misha's tone, it seems like this is newer to her than it is to me. The school student council was like a joke in comparison. Don't give people positions of power if they don't have any power at all. What's the point? So, I wanted us to have more power and more work. It was hard to convince the school and the other student council members to allow it. Actually, a lot of time you've seen us do. A lot of the work you've seen us do really is work that I took on, which is what Lilia was talking about. If it wasn't for Shi-chan, the student council would just file attendance reports day in and day out. Haha, would you prefer that, Hichan? Of course, Hichan. As soon as the workload started going up, most of the student council stopped coming. Haha. Shizune's fingers fold over each other carefully. It looks like she wants to add something, but she can't bring herself to. Like she said, sign language gives you a little more time to think about what you say. I guess she feels like she can't talk about this. That was then, and this is now. Let's just have fun tomorrow. That's what she finally settles for. Yep. Okay, then student council is adjourned for today. It has to be adjourned excitingly because today was a good day. Hahaha. Well, let's keep going. School seems to be over by the time we leave the tea house, as I can see students coming down from the school as we walk up the road towards it. A couple of people wearing a uniform look at Shizune as she walks by, and I wonder if they recognize her as a student council president, or if their eyes are just being drawn to Misha's head. It's impossible not to overhear the chatter in the air, and the topic is more often than not plans for Tanabata. I wonder how many of them will be using or going to the stalls that I reassembled. It makes me feel a little pride, and an emotion I've never felt doing something for school. Maybe this is how Shizune feels as well. I almost want to ask, but it seems so stupid to want to do so. So I just hold on to the thought as the three of us walk onto campus and then separate. Shizune to the student council room, and Misha and I to our dorms. It isn't until they're gone that I realize I again didn't ask when and where they want to meet up tomorrow. Alrighty, well, now we're gonna end it. Just let this end, see what's afterwards. Okay. Alright, well, we're all done for today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.